Oh, Alex Rodriguez, man. I think he's gonna get the team.
Let's go. We got to
He's
talk about that whole. We got to talk about that whole A-Rod thing, man. There's a lot of people talking shit. I don't like it.
You want to do it real quick here? What do you think about what he said?
Well, I know he made a comment, said that the word salary cap never came out of his mouth, but if and I actually didn't look into it too deep, but we've given A-Rod praise in the past for knowing the business of baseball and understanding how to grow it. So if the guy is saying that we can grow it from $10 billion to $10 billion industry to a $15 billion industry, and that we split it 50-50, I'm no expert, but that's what the NBA does. They're way more popular than baseball is. He knows it. He might actually understand how to grow it. And I don't see the difference between an Alex Rodriguez signing the biggest contract at the time in history and a guy like John Wall or Timothy Mozgov signing multi-million-dollar contracts under a salary cap. Timothy Mozgov, by the way, I'm pretty sure he signed that contract off of one good playoff series that LeBron was on with him in the Cavs. Mm-hmm. And John Wall has not been relevant for like the last 2 seasons, and the guy's making like $40 million this year for being ass. So I don't know what the players want. I don't think all players disagree with the cap, and I know a lot of them definitely disagree with it because obviously that's not what they want. That's not what the MLBPA wants. So I don't know what the right answer is, but people really got to stop talking all the shit about A-Rod when the guy clearly knows what he's talking about and is a business-minded person. He's not a do the right thing, let's give everybody participation awards type of guy. He's a business-minded player, turned himself into a business. So I don't know what the right answer is. I just think that people love to hate on the guy.
I think it's just that he benefited so much from not having a salary cap, the highest paid player in baseball 2 times, that it's one of those things. It's like if you really break down what he's trying to say, I understand it, but it's not for you to say, man. Like, you benefited so much. That's like.
Well, let me ask you this. If the sport grows from 10 billion to 15 billion and they split it 50-50, isn't there going to be more money for players to go around?
Yeah, there will be. I've made this argument before. I think opening the books, salary cap is going to be better for the entire league. I think it's that one player that gets a shitload of money won't be able to get a shitload of money. He's going to go from making 40 million potentially to maybe making 30 million, which again, boo-hoo-hoo, I don't give a fuck. But I think that's the reason why players don't want to do that, because they want to have that shot at it.
But why does the player making 40 million make 30 million now?
Because with a salary cap, there'll be a salary floor, and teams are going to have to spend money on players. So instead of having a team like the Marlins and the Rays with $30 million payrolls, they might have to pay $75 million or something for their payroll. And I don't think that money is going to be available.
All right, so then I'll go back to this. Then isn't this what everybody was fighting for the little guys to get their paycheck?
I think I agree. Like I said, I think it's the right. I think what he's saying is true, and I think it would help the sport. But I think he's just the person. It just doesn't come off good when it's Alex Rodriguez who says it, because he benefited so much from the system.
Yeah, but wouldn't he have still benefited from a capped system? Wasn't he still the best player in baseball? Wouldn't he have had the chance? Would he have
instead of getting a $270 million contract with the salary cap, he might not have made that, because teams might not have been able to pay that kind of money.
But we don't even know what he could have made, because without a cap, this whole growing the sport with a cap, teams like the Marlins or teams like the Rays that don't spend a lot of money will spend more money making their teams better. Everybody's team gets better. Competition becomes better. So we don't know what kind of money a top flight player like A-Rod or Trout can make in a cap. All I know is that Patrick Mahomes in a sport of NFL signed the most ridiculous contract I've ever seen in my life, and that's a cap sport. And I'm pretty sure the money in baseball is still going to be guaranteed. So I don't know, man. If not A-Rod, who? Would I rather hear what Pete Rose said? What did Pete Rose ever do in terms of business?
I think also that he's an announcer. Like if he doesn't get the Mets, he's gonna have to go back up in the booth in ESPN, and players are gonna want, they're not gonna want to talk to him.
But how do we know that these players don't want a cap system?
I think a lot of them don't. I think most of them don't.
Then these guys are they're hypocritical to these owners. They're hypocrite. For sure. Everybody's a hypocrite.
Everybody's playing the game. But the best way to mediate the game playing is just open up the books. Then nobody could fucking play each other. The players can't play the owners can't play the players. Because it's like, here we go. This is what we have, guys. You can't bitch. If I can't give you a $40 million contract, don't start bitching because I don't got the money. You see it right here. And the players can say, oh, wait a second. You made how much money last year? Fuck that. Give me my $40 million contract. Like, it's just end the bullshit. That's it. Like, I think that baseball is moving toward a salary cap. I think it'll happen eventually. And I just think it's again, I agree with A-Rod. I just think it was just like, I don't know, man. You're just not the man to make that message yet. Unless you know for sure that you're going to own the Mets. Then, okay. Then,
act like an owner. But I just want to close with this. I'm not saying A-Rod is right. I'm just saying, why is he a villain for saying something that a lot of people are already saying? And that
he's A-Rod, man. People hate A-Rod.
Because he's A-Rod. And why is he the villain when both the NBA and the NFL, MLB is never gonna be at that level for the rest of our lives. I hope we realize that. No matter
watch your mouth.
No, because I see LeBron James has a kid. He's gonna take over LeBron's throne when he leaves. He'll have a kid and so on and so forth. NFL is just untouchable in terms of ratings. So yeah, the sport might never be as big as the NFL or the NBA, but those are both salary cap sports. So can someone at least think like, oh, maybe A-Rod has a point? But before we all bash him, and then the guy has to make a statement like, hey, I never said salary cap. Like, don't make me the bad guy.
So A-Rod,
the guy knows what he's talking about, is what I'm saying.
He does. He knows what he's talking about. So A-Rod and J-Law are going to put up to $300 million apparently for the Mets. They partnered up with Robert Kraft, I think, is a part of their investment team.
A winner.
They have a billionaire from Long Island, I think I mentioned, would probably be the majority owner. I'm not sure. So it looks like it's between A-Rod and Steve Cohen. And something tells me A-Rod's going to push this through. It looks like he's going all in. I don't think he would have made a comment like that if he wasn't all in. Let me put it that way.
I don't necessarily agree that he made that comment thinking he's going to be an owner. Maybe he thinks he's going to be an owner someday. So yeah, but I don't think A-Rod thinks in terms of like checkmate. Like I said this for this reason.
I don't think he said it for that reason. I think he wouldn't have said it if he wasn't, because if he has to return again to that booth in ESPN, you're going to have to go face the players now. You're going to have to go talk to these players who are apparently pissed off. So a couple of players tweeted about it. So that's why I think.
But it's not the first time that he mentioned this. When they were trying to negotiate the whole COVID thing, he did say that they should just split, or the players should take a pay cut and so on. And he caught a lot of flack for that. I don't think A-Rod gets on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram with a plan in mind to checkmate you down the road. In other words, I don't think he's like Mark Cuban in terms of how he depicts things. I think the guy just knows what he's talking about.
Loves himself.
Fuck your feelings. He loves himself. Yeah, that's a fact. He's probably full of himself, to be honest, but that's A-Rod, man. Fuck it. Get over it. Who cares?
Oh man. All right. I think that's good. I wanted you to just get out as much as we can about A-Rod there. I know you probably feel better. We talked a lot about A-Rod for there. So
thanks, man.